Hello, we are here today for another PMO hack from PMOA Latam. And as usual, the topic is related to projects, as usual. And by the way, what we can say about a project? What's a project all about? Basically, a project is related to an endeavor with a unique result. In this case, we are putting like a path to a very well desired place when you want to be. A sunny place, if possible, would be nice. You have some birds, a very nice place. So in the path to your destination, you may face some difficulties or you may face some opportunities. We don't know. There is some uncertainty. So that's the reason our PMO hack from today is about one of the important dilemmas in project management. Basically, we are going to cover risks and issues. And how what's the relationship between both of them? What is really an issue and what is a risk? That is our purpose for today. So on one side of your path, you may face some difficulties. It's normal. When you are in a project endeavor that you are intending to go to someone place else, so that will be your destination, maybe you face some difficulties. So that's the reason we are talking about that. What's the similarity or the difference between them? It's always difficult to understand, but let's understand what does it mean. Actually, a risk is related to some uncertainty because projects always carry uncertainty. So in our path to the destinations, we will face difficulties, what is normal. It's expected that you face something maybe difficult to measure or difficult to handle, but this is all about the importance we have to talk about risks. And when we are talking about uncertainty, we need to understand what is this uncertainty, by the way. What's going to be, how I can think about it in the proper way. Let's see. Let's understand a little bit. So when you are talking about risks, usually you have a question mark because you don't know what's going to happen. You may foresee, but it's not certain. You need to understand that something may happen in the future, so you need to be prepared. So in terms of defining your risks, you need to do some important topics. One of them, you need to qualify the risks. So you need to put in the proper perspective what the risk is all about. So you qualify those risks. So you put some characteristics. If it's a technology problem, it may be also a management problem. It may be an external problem. So you list your risks. Oh, but it's important as well. Sometimes the risk can be negative. Usually, we always think about something negative to happen. But in the normal life, despite this is not so obvious, but you can have something positive. It's an opportunity that you can, instead of avoiding, you can explore. You can take this advantage of this risk to have some benefits from them. Here we go. So after you qualify your risks, you have to quantify, definitely. So you need to put some numbers. You need to think about it. What's your risk is all about? So you quantify. In the process of quantification, you define some kind of probability that this risk can happen. Whoa. You can also define something that is related to the impact of this risk. And also, you need to think about it. What's the financial impact of this risk? And then, once you have all of this, it's important to start thinking how you can mitigate or you can avoid this. So you need something like some questions and some answers. And then you create a proper list of what you can do if those risks, in fact, come into the real life. So something that you put in a list, what you need to do. That should be your response time or your response list. Again, coming to qualify and quantify, you also need to define a timing, right, Bruna? So it's important to understand what is the duration of your risk. When it starts is when you have to monitor it, until when you're going to monitor that risk. So the other thing that you need to do after you quantify, after you qualify your risk, what's the idea now is to communicate. Well, communicate your stakeholders and make sure all of them are aligned about the responsibility over this risk assessment and mitigation. Then, last but not least, in terms of risk, you need to have your eyes open. Really open. Looking at the way and think what can happen and monitor day by day, and depending on your project. Well, then coming to the other side. So in order to get to your destination, if you mapped your risks, maybe you have issues, right? So the risks that you foresee before, it can become issues, can become a real problem. In this case, in the way, what is the best example that we can do? Maybe you have a lot of trees out there, and then one of those trees, in fact, is now on your way. You didn't expect that at all, but you planned that something could actually take place like this. So your tree is now preventing you to get to your planned destination. So what do you do? This is now a real issue. But even though it's now a problem for you, if you did right the job, on the left side, you have the proper response time. And here, you bring from there that big plan that you created, all your responses for this special event. A tree is now on my way. So this is your response to that. If you plan it accordingly, you have the response to overcome or to get out of this limitation. So your tree is now preventing you to continue. So what you put, maybe what you put in your path to destination, what you have to do, maybe you need to look for a tractor, an operator, very simple, just to give you an idea. And then, last but not least, you need to remove. In fact, what I'm talking here, that the risk is nothing more than an event that really happened. But as a good project manager, you were prepared for that. So you were there. to respond accordingly. Your response to this event that back there you define it as a potential problem to take place. Then, should you become worried about it? What do you think? Should you start thinking, oh, what a problem I have now? This is the normal life? Maybe, but as a prepared guy with your response plan, you now is on the control of the situation. And why we need all of this, Bruna? Because, as Bruna just said, shit happens all the time. Very interesting, right? So shit happens, but remind that maybe it's an opportunity as well. So what's our most important message here? It's part of the project. Every project we carry something about that. So what's the overall idea? Get really ready for that. Be prepared. Do your plans. Think about what can happen. Think about that problems can take place. Think about it that in the normal life, you can have a response that you bring you out of this problem. And then, as usual, always, really, an attent guy thinking about the reality. This can happen, but you are now a guy prepared to act accordingly. That's it. Risks and issues. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.